Yo, what's up guys? My name's Hound, the man formerly known as 3Hound Dog, and today I've got some Modern Warfare 2 free-for-all on Rundown for you. We're tearing it up with the TAR-21, got some Blue Tiger on that bad boy, the AA-12 Extended Mags I believe, Marathon Pro, Stop and Power Pro, and Ninja Pro. Ninja's always a must. Remember I said that in the last video, hopefully you remember that. It's especially a must in Search and Destroy, but it's nice to have in free-for-all as well. So I got stun grenades as well. Before we go into my topics, or my multiple topics for this video, I want to preface it by saying that the initial commentary I did for this was not very good. There were too many and just weird sentence fillers that I didn't notice when I was doing them, but I definitely have to work on. So hopefully this video is better, this commentary is better. Normally I only do one take, but I'm being really picky with this one for some reason. And I really want to make a good one here, so without further ado, let's get this going. Basically, this video was supposed to be Modern Warfare 2 Remastered talk. I made a commentary for that. It's some great Search and Destroy gameplay, some sweet Search and Destroy gameplay. On sub-base, it's obviously Modern Warfare 2 gameplay because I'm talking about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. And that video just didn't render well. The first render, just the quality was weird. There were little squares and boxes that were popping up that were just not 720p. Which is my normal quality, the normal quality I render in. I tried to render the initial video in 1080p, I believe, whatever the top YouTube render is. I rendered that video, the first video, the initial video, in that, and it looked okay, but I think I'm just going to revert to 720p. It's what my PVR is set at. I don't have a new one that fits or that works with the 1080p that I know of. So if anybody knows how to do that, let me know in the comments, and I'm definitely going to start doing that, but my current one doesn't. So that rendering, the initial one just did not turn out well, so I started to render it multiple times. Like I rendered it one time where I went down to 720, it didn't work. I rendered it and I went down to 720 and clicked a couple boxes, didn't work. I tried to raise up or lower my my frames per second, it didn't work. So it just all in all, it was just kind of a fail on my part, and so I'm going to try to render it again this weekend. My hope is that you guys see that video tomorrow. So that will be some Modern Warfare Remastered talk. It's a good video, good gameplay on Search and Destroy. Some, again, on sub-base. I use the FAL, got a lot of really good tips and tricks that I just snuck in there. But the main topic is definitely Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. So now we can get to today's gameplay. So we're playing some free-for-all. Now, free-for-all is the most basic game mode in any first-person shooter, obviously including Call of Duty. So in general, you're going to have the most newbie players that play free-for-all, so it's going to be the easiest to do well in. So definitely, if you're new to the game, I suggest playing free-for-all or team deathmatch, but really free-for-all first, because you get a bunch of noobs that do stupid stuff. And it's not that hard to do well in free-for-all, to be honest. Like, I get a good score here, but you can see my playing style. My style for free-for-all is just really, really efficient. How I suggest you play free-for-all is you decide to pick a corner of the map. I mean, it doesn't need to be a corner. There just needs to be an area. And you do the strategy called Defend the Fort. And you lock down that area. So you just basically do what I'm doing here. Run between a couple area points or a couple vantage points in that area, and you pick people off. And you especially kill people that spawn there. Because spawn killing is really easy in free-for-all. And it's pretty much the easiest way to do well. And Modern Warfare 2 is a little unique in the fact that you just got to get your kill streaks to do well. But this strategy does work in every single free-for-all game mode game that I've played. So it's just because the spawns are so sporadic, and you see people spawning throughout this video near me, and I just keep picking them off. So free-for-all, most basic. If you're new, play it. If you're not new and you want to do well, play it. The best way that I've found to play it is to do this. You can always do the run and gun style, because in reality, the way to win free-for-all is just to get to 25 or 30 kills, depending on what Call of Duty you're playing. But if you want to do well, defend your fort. Now we can talk a little bit about the TAR. I guess I don't really know what else I want to talk about. I got a lot of my stuff out on my plate. The initial commentary was really good, and it was filled with tips and tricks. I'm just really bummed that there was so many crap like that, but so I guess we'll talk about Modern Warfare Remastered. I love the game. I talked about it in my last video, my initial video. That got me back into this. It's just such a fun game, and it's really basic that it's Call of Duty, or the most basic Call of Duty form. All Call of Duties kind of came up from that point and started being innovative. That reminds me, actually, that's what I want to talk about is, I'm going to do a series, I think. I kind of want you guys to give your input. Essentially what the series is, I'm going to call it the evolution of COD. I'm going to give a game plan every single Call of Duty, do a commentary, and talk about the Call of Duty, talk about the COD. So we'll start out with COD 4. I talk about, how it's pretty basic, good things in the game, bad things in the game, things that could have been improved. And then as I move on, up along the ladder for Call of Duty, I'm going to talk about what they did that was innovative and if it worked. So basically, the first two Call of Duties were essentially the same. Well, the first two multiplayer online, the first two big ones, I should say, really, Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty World at War. I know 3 and 2. I know for sure 3 was online. I think 2 was as well, but I could be wrong. I started playing COD 4 right at the back end of COD 4, right before World at War. So those are my 2 games. So that's what I consider the start of Call of Duty. Those games are really basic, and the next innovation came with this game, and I talked about that in the Modern Warfare Remastered, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered game. But then it went to Black Ops, where we started to buy stuff, and to the point where you get tokens, etc., and now we're jetpacking around the map. But so if you guys think that series would be interesting, put it in the comments. Also, I want to ask you guys, what kind of video do you want to see tomorrow with gameplay? I've got a bunch of gameplay set up, so eventually I want to have 2 gameplays for you to pick between, but I don't have enough subs for that. So there it is, gameplay, final score 30-1, pretty good free-for-all game. I want to remind you guys to please comment, rate, and subscribe. I really need the subs to get my own personal YouTube, so personal URL, so that'd be really nice. And follow my my sub box, my YouTube or my Twitter sub box at CrewHound YouTube or at CrewHoundYT. Thanks guys, have a great day, and hopefully I see you tomorrow.